But first, following an insulting message about a certain politician, the perils of going to the cinema. Rob says, Boris Johnson and Mark Francois remind me of the contents of an uncooked English breakfast. Well, which bit? An uncooked egg? Mushrooms, maybe. Do they remind you of mushrooms? There's a fungus among us. Maybe kippers.
We've got a few idiots in our party.
That's it, isn't it? Kippers. Keith says, have you noticed how Mark of the Francois looks a lot like a Cadbury's Smash robot when he's being interviewed on the telly? No, I've, well, maybe, yeah. Greatest advert ever. It is actually the greatest advert ever, isn't it? I haven't seen it in such a long time, but that just made me roll off the chair. That was so funny. I never actually bought the product, though. I wonder if it really worked as an advert, other than, you know, making us chortle. Did it actually benefit the product? I never bought any. I mean, why would you? It's just blooming potatoes. Just cook a blooming potato and then squash it up. Why would you want to get it in a packet in powder form? Unless they're advertising with us on this show, in which case it's an excellent way to start that. I like eating it straight out the bag. Daniel says, have you seen that Oxford University has banned clapping in case the noise triggers anxiety? The world has truly gone mad. 70 years ago, people of their age were attacking German machine gun nests. I'm amazed. See, he's amazed. There's much amazement about. Yeah. I don't get that. They've banned clapping. Now everyone's got to use jazz hands. Like we're in Chicago. That's about the best thing I've ever seen on the stage, by the way, Chicago. I went to see something at, it wasn't the theatre, because who can afford to go to the theatre these days? But it was, you know, one of these things that they show in the cinema that was recorded at a theatre. And I only say theatre like that because Bruce Forsyth said it like that. I sat in front of him in some, I can't remember what it was, and he sat down behind me with his gorgeous partner. And he said, oh, what a nice theatre. I thought, how bizarre for somebody who spent so much time in a theatre to pronounce it like that. But anyway, so I go to the cinema because, you know, they show these things that were recorded in theatres. And I thought, normally I don't like to go to the cinema because morons. Surrounded by morons we are, and they are particularly moronic in the cinema. But I thought, with this thing, because the tickets were like 20 quid, I mean, they ain't giving them away. There was 20, but considerably less expensive than going to see the actual show. I thought, well, we'll be all right. There won't be morons. Not in there, there won't. Yes, there were. They arrived about 20 minutes after the thing started. It was like two bags of rubbish had just blown in from the storm, and they careered up to the back and then talked loudly to each other. And when the music swelled in the production, they increased their volume so as not to be misheard. They wanted to make absolutely sure that their partner knew every single thing that they were saying. Oh, and she said this and he said that, and oh, you know, like that. And then, having arrived 20 minutes after the thing had begun and talked for about an hour, they then left about a half an hour before it ended. God. They just get everywhere. Morons. And I thought, well, I'd like to kill them, but you're not even allowed to do that these days. It's probably an EU directive, isn't it? Can't wait to get out. Daniel, I don't know, I read that. Benedict says, has Nick finally got himself a Steve Allen tea towel, and will there be a Nick Abbott tea towel sold around the back of Global, around the back? Psst, want to score a tea towel? Pauline says, Steve Allen gets his potato frozen from Iceland. Yeah, not the shop, the actual country. They fly it in. Let's have, who's been waiting the longest? Maida Vale. Jeremy.
Yes, that's me.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Yes, Jeremy.
Hi. Just the reason I called was because you were working out how many feet of rain we were going to get.
Yes.
And you used the formula 9 over 5 plus 32.
It's multiplied by 9 and divide by 5 and add 32 to get feet from inches.
No. That's for converting centigrade to Fahrenheit.
Well, I don't think
so.
so.
To do with, it is.
I'm afraid that's not correct. Not according to the information that I have in front of me, Jeremy.
Well, if you convert centigrade to Fahrenheit,
yes.
multiply by 9 over 5 and add 32.
No, I'm afraid that is
yes.
Incorrect information.
It is not incorrect, I promise you.
Jeremy, I don't know where you went to school, but you're embarrassing yourself on national radio.
No, you're embarrassing yourself. That is correct. Okay. I promise you, if you look it up, that is correct.
I will not look it up.
Well, then it is correct.
Well, but you can't prove it, can you?
Well, you can look. Yeah, all you have to do is look it up.
Well, it's the weekend. I'm not doing homework on the weekend.
Well, that is we've done it several times. We've had to do it, and it's 9 over 5 plus 32 is conversion of Fahrenheit
to
of centigrade to Fahrenheit.
Inches to feet.
Inches.
Yes,
3.25 inches to inch. 3.25 inches.
Well, see, that's decimal points, so you can't do decimal points when you go inches to feet.
3.25 feet to meters.
Right.
If you convert it,
you got it wrong.
No, I've got it right. 3.25 feet in a meter.
But how can you do decimal when we're talking about inches and feet and meters?
Well, if you want to, 3 feet 3 inches is a meter.
Right.
So 3 feet 3 inches is 3.25 meters.
I'm sorry.
I'm a surveyor. I have to know that.
Well, unfortunately, you're in the wrong job. A surveyor. Let's hope nothing important like a building or anything like that.
Well, I said, don't make a fool of yourself because you're quite wrong. Okay. I promise you you're wrong. Look it up, and I promise you.
But your promise means nothing to me, Jeremy.
It means nothing to me. I just thought I'd correct you.
All right.
I rang up.
Well,
I said, there's no need to speak to you. The guy said he would rather I speak to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've spoken to you and told you. If you look it up, you will find you are wrong.
I am not looking it up. But thanks for the effort, Jeremy, and I appreciate it. But really, it's just chronically embarrassing speaking to somebody who is.
No, you're embarrassed.
I don't know where you went to school, Joe. Do you actually have a degree? I mean, do you have any qualifications of any kind whatsoever? Do you have a calculator?
I'm a chartered surveyor.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Jeremy. Good work. I expect he'll be in a podcast later. I suspected right. And now, a puzzling question. Northampton. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
Dan.
Hiya.
Yes, Dan.
How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking.
Good. Right, so there's a few things that I saw with, obviously, the Brexit debate and the whole Brexit argument.
Yeah, a couple of three things.
Yeah, there was Boris Johnson in one of his conference speeches came out and said that Oxford University was on the verge of creating a portable fusion generator.
Oh, yeah.
So the question is to you, what would happen to all the currency if that is potentially released and free energy is available?
What would happen to all the currency?
Yeah, when all the energy companies are now no longer needed.
Why would that have an effect on the currency?
Because then it would mean that the currency would be free to use. Because it would not.
Oh, you mean the current? You don't mean the money. You mean the electricity?
No, I mean the money. Because if free energy is able to be used, portable fusion generators,
yeah,
you would not need to pay for electricity, gas, oil.
Right.
So what would happen to the currency?
What would happen to the currency? I don't know. Is this a question that you have the answer to, or you genuinely want me to come up with the answer to? This is not how.
I'm not asking you to come up with the answer. I'm just your opinion. It's just when Boris Johnson said it, it kind of baffled me.
Yeah. Well, I bet it baffled the researchers at Oxford University as well, because they have got no idea what he's talking about. They've just invented a portable fusion generator.
Apparently on the verge of it.
Well, what does that mean, on the verge of it? They've been on the verge of it for the last 50 years.
Well, the technology's out there.
Oh, is it? It's out there.
Yeah.
Sure it is. Yeah, like the truth. But you can't handle the truth, Dan.
Really?
Don't worry about it. Your money will remain the same. Can you believe that? Has this show started yet? Oh, you know what? This show's going to be fantastic when it starts. What time's it on? I don't know. I'll look it up. Coming up, squirrels, turtles, and Versailles. Finally, after 3 years of tit-for-tat tariffs, the two mighty countries of the United States and China are finally getting along. Right? Wrong. I read this in The Economist. Don't be fooled by the trade deal between America and China, it says. This modest accord cannot disguise how the world's most important relationship is at its most perilous juncture since before Richard Nixon and Mao Zedong re-established links 5 decades ago. If you want your free print copy of The Economist, you can get one by texting NICK, that's N-I-C-K, to 78070. And here's an idea of how intertwined the two countries are. Starbucks has 4,125 cafes in China. Can you believe it? I read that in The Economist too. If you want a free print copy of The Economist, just text NICK to 78070. That's text NICK, N-I-C-K, to 78070 for your free print copy. The Economist is the smart guide to the forces impacting your... Maxine's been waiting the longest. Yes, Maxine.
Hello, my darling.
Maxine.
How are you, my love? I don't want to talk about Brexit, my love. It's giving me the hump.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? Wibbly might be the most happiest place on earth, but I was in the most happiest place on earth until you told me about the old girl in her palace that's earning so much money, my darling.
80-odd million pound a year we're giving somebody who's worth over £2 billion.
Right, oh, my love. Now,
Grief,
let me
you're
tell you
loud.
something.
Yes?
Now, let me tell you something. Right, I got a letter through the post about 3 weeks ago. You've got to vote. You've got to register to vote. If you don't, you go imprisonment, my love. Imprisonment. Never been in prison before, my love.
I
Do
doubt
they
that.
actually do that?
You've never been...
Do they actually do it?
Have you been arrested?
No.
Really? You got...
Well, actually...
Yes.
Actually, once before, but it weren't technically my fault.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't my fault. But
It wasn't your fault.
It.
I ain't done nothing. Right.
No, I didn't. Honest to God, I didn't. It
Guilty.
wasn't my fault. No, I was not. That's slanderous, my love. Slanderous. Steve Allen will kill you for that.
Yeah.
Now,
the evidence before the court is incontrovertible. There's no need for the jury to retire.
Rock and roll! I've done nothing. No. But this is what it said on the letter. If you don't register for the electoral roll, you could be imprisoned. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, well, in your case, yes, absolutely.
Well, no, it's not. Well, I'll tell you what, if she's on 800 million or whatever she's on a year, I'd like to go to one of her hotels, my love.
Wouldn't that be nice? One of her hotels?
Well, on Her Majesty's service, I'm popping in there. Is she doing a nice spa? Bit of English breakfast in the morning? I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't think that's what on Her Majesty's service means. I don't think she's going to pop up with room service. You can't order an omelette.
You don't know on her money.
That's right. Yeah, you're quite right. I don't know that that's a fact.
Now, I've got to ask you another question.
Yes.
You brought something up earlier on about squirrels.
Right.
Now, I go down my caravan every other weekend in Chelsea. You know where Chelsea is?
I don't.
Bognor.
Where is it? Oh, Bognor.
Near Bognor,
right.
yeah. Well, not Bognor, that's the common end. Chelsea's a posh end.
Well, I don't know. Give it its full title, Bognor Regis. That's posh.
No, I'm not near Bognor Regis. I'm in Chelsea. Chelsea is like Eastbourne, but they've got a few extra years on them.
Right.
Eastbourne's like God's waiting room. Chelsea's got a few extra years on them. Don't worry about it.
Well, you mean they're older, or they've got a few extra years of life left?
No, they've got a few extra years to, they can just ponder around.
Right, okay.
Right, now, squirrels. Round my caravan, I've got a bird table, and I put squirrel nuts out.
Why?
What do you mean, why? The winter's coming. You've got to feed them, haven't you?
Please.
Started them.
Oh, nonsense. Squirrels are doing just fine. They don't need fed by you.
No. But watch this. Right. What happened was I filled the nut feeder up with the nuts, and I put some suet blocks out.
Yeah.
So we have about 3 or 4 squirrels hanging off my bird table, my love.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've had to cement it into the ground because I've got so many on there. They're going to have it over. Now, so what we do, we watch them. They swing off it, grab the nuts, and then they sit on the grass, and they're pulling the grass up, burying the nuts. You know what? Them little weasels, they come back about a week later and they know where they've buried them nuts.
Do they? Or do they just bury so many that everywhere they dig is nuts? I think that people should... I think that grey squirrels should be treated like the invasive species that they are, to death.
You're evil.
Yeah.
You're evil. No, you can't do that.
Why not?
You can't shoot. Did you know something? This is another thing I didn't know, because I don't want to talk about Brexit. Is that word actually in the dictionary, by any chance?
Well, it must be. I mean, the Oxford English Dictionary, every year they come out and they add new words.
Well, it's got to be in there, the amount of times we flaming use it.
And this year, if it isn't already in there, it will go in there along with mansplaining, probably.
Now, here we go. I want to ask you a question. You know turtles?
Yeah. No.
Right. How is it I know I'm going off on a tangent, but you know what?
Turtles.
I don't talk about Brexit, and your man on the end of the phone is hilarious.
Yes, turtles, yes.
Right. Turtles. How is it they can go and lay eggs on a beach, and years later, the babies that are born, they come back and lay their eggs on the same beach?
Bizarre. It is bizarre. Get David Attenborough on the phone and he'll explain it to us.
Alexis don't even know that on the sat-nav thing.
You asked the sat-nav and it didn't know about turtles. Well, I find that extraordinary.
I don't know about turtles.
That sat-nav's an idiot.
Anyway, what are you doing for Christmas?
Oh, yeah, I'll be doing this. I'll be... well, I don't actually know that that's true or not.
Are you going to be working?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Maxine, have you never heard my seasonal A to Z?
I have, but I can never get on there, darling. I think they blocked at that time of year. I don't know whether it's something personal. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I think I would. If I were you, I'd take umbrage. Yeah, definitely. Maxine, I'm going to have to go, but thanks for that. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, grey squirrels are a blooming nuisance, and they should be dealt with. Like parrots. Parrots are a blooming nuisance as well. I hate those things. I mean, they're all right in the jungle and all, but not in Surrey. Jeremy says, I think you're right about Versailles. The only interesting room was Marie Antoinette's bathroom. Rubbish. I can't remember Marie Antoinette's bathroom, but the only interesting thing was the Hall of Mirrors. I mean, that was the only room in the entire place that was actually breathtaking. It was fantastic. But you want to go outside. Outside is better than inside. Anyway, it goes on. Apparently the whole court thought she was a bit weird, lashing out on or splashing out perhaps, on a luxury bathroom and continuously bathing every day. Apparently there were no toilets in Versailles. Everybody else found a curtain to go behind. The gardens are fantastic, though. That's actually true. People used to pee in the corner of rooms.
Disgusting.
They didn't used to go outside. They just used to get up from the dining table and go in a corner. Literally. Isn't that awful? Can you imagine the stench? I mean, it looks great, but, a bit of an offence on the nostrils. This says, squirrels are a form of rodent, and that woman... that woman is nuts. Who are you talking about? They say they know where they left stuff. A rat should never be flushed down the toilet, as it can not only remember the way it went, it can also swim back up the Kazi, and that's a fact. They are clever little bleepers. Whoever flushes a rat down the toilet? You want to put it in the food waste bin where it belongs. That's just good advice. Please hold your applause for this next caller. Wigan, Patrick.
Hello, Nick, my friend. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Good, thanks.
Very good, Nick. I've come on to talk about something. Basically, I disagree with almost everything that you said, but I really like it. I think you're very funny. And I think, on the right topic, you and I can have, in the words of Donald Trump, the perfect call. I want to know what your opinion is on these bright young adults banning the clap.
Well, if only it was the clap that they were trying to eradicate, then that would be one thing. But banning clapping just seems to be, I don't know, maybe they're just doing it in order to get a rise out of people. That's my best reading of it, that they're just joking, knowing that the Daily Mail is going to have a fit. And then sitting back and crossing their arms and they
want to write the headlines.
Yeah, enjoying the fallout.
But I have to look at it and think, if they're going to ban clapping, crowds who want to make noise and get excited, they're just going to roar. They're going to be loud. They're going to shout.
Oh, well, that's much
surely
worse.
That will make somebody else anxious.
That's going to make almost everybody anxious. But I think that's one of the reasons that...
What do? Do we take a moment's silence? Because that would make me anxious if everyone goes silent.
Well, that's true too, yeah. I mean, if you say something that you would expect to get a response and you don't hear a response, then that's going to make people really upset, yeah.
And these are the elite people. One day these will rule us all. And freedom of speech is under attack, but the freedom of actions, I don't know, what would you call it, gestures?
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Well,
sit there in silence,
look at each other? If it's any help, Patrick, I'm gesturing something at you right now, as a matter of fact.
I assume it's a nice way just to say...
It's something like that, yeah. It involves at least some of my fingers, yeah. Coming up, car talk and the cost of coffee. Not Costa Coffee, that's a chain of shops. The cost of coffee. Ron in Hounslow says, if this upsets you. Uh-oh. Grip onto something firm. He says, I apologise if this upsets you, but I'd really like an update on your newer car, the broken one. Oh, yeah, my newer car. It's still broken. Thanks for asking. I tried to do the right thing. My old car, the only one the one that works, it works almost perfectly almost the entire time I've had it, which is 20 years now. I can't think of anything that's really broken down on it, ever. Apart from the driver's window, which now needs assistance to go up. It can go down easily. It's the going up part what it finds difficult, so I have to push it up. If only it had one of those winding things. How lazy are we? We can't even be bothered to wind a window up. We need a button. That's about the silliest thing I can think of. I mean, yes, if it's the other side of the car, because that used to be a bit of a faff if you were stopping to ask people directions, before the invention of sat-navs. Hey, kids, there used to be a thing called maps. You believe that? No. We used to have to get about by looking at them. You give somebody a map these days, even if it's a map to the loo in their own house, they wouldn't be able to make head and a tail of it. But that used to be a bit problematic because you have to lean over and wind the window down. Now it's just the touch of a button. But the window that's next to you, that also needs a button. No car that is sold these days comes without a button that opens and closes your window. They just don't exist. This says, the only way to make coffee is with a trusty Bialetti pot that you put on a stove. Just boycott the rubbish coffee shops. And Sal says, frothy coffee, not successful, just stupid. In answer to the text that I had yesterday it was, actually. I was just wiping up yesterday's text. It says that people buy a frothy coffee every day in order to look successful. No, they don't. It doesn't make you look successful. It just makes you look a bit like a mug. You'll spend $1,000. That's how much it costs. If you buy one a day, 5 days a week, and have the odd muffin every now and again, it'll cost you £1,000 a year. That's insane. Particularly as when you get to work, I bet that they've got free coffee. Okay, it might be instant, but it's still drugs.
Want to score some pot?
And that's really what we're interested in. It's the drugs part. It gives you a bit of a lift. You can get one for free at work. Plus, I think that I always get the feeling that instant coffee's got more drugs in it. Don't you feel that? Because proper coffee sometimes makes me want to just lie down and go to sleep. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the clean, clear hit of an instant coffee buzz. Maybe you're not supposed to snort it. Here's Catford. Steve.
Hi, Nick. Overrated coffee, I would argue.
What?
Coffee.
Overrated?
Expensive, and not very good for you.
Oh, that's not true. I mean, every now and again the newspaper will say that coffee is the thing that will kill you. You put that cup down straight away, otherwise you won't live to see the end of it. And then the very next day they'll say, you must drink 3 cups of coffee a day, otherwise your heart's going to explode at your chest like the alien monster.
Well, yeah, I've given up coffee. I found it was I don't know. I was drinking it because I assumed I liked it.
Yeah, I do like it. I gave up coffee accidentally.
Well done.
Well, aren't you curious? Aren't you remotely interested? Well, ask me then.
Okay, Nick, you gave up coffee accidentally. That's very strange. Why?
Yes, thank you. Because I accidentally bought some decaffeinated coffee without realising it, and I got really chronic headaches. I thought, why am I getting these headaches? They just won't go away. I'm necking aspirin like a kid on the way out to a disco who's made a bad drug choice. And it just didn't go away. And I just, like days would go by, and I thought, it just won't leave me, this low-level headache. And then I saw the blooming packet. It was anti-caffeine. Decaffeinated. Oh my! Maybe the coffee that I had just before I came on the air was decaffeinated. Maybe that's my problem. I've been duped.
Maybe. Yeah. I didn't really want to talk. I was going to talk about polls and stuff, but I will mention a variety of baked beans that I particularly liked, or used to like. But they changed it. They took all the nasty stuff out of it. And it's
and no, it doesn't taste very nice. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, the low salt, low sugar baked beans are not worth the tin they come in.
Oh no, they are
rubbish.
On toast.
Yeah,
yeah.
But with an egg, with a runny egg, because just beans on toast is too much of a one-note treat. You have to have a runny egg to go with it.
Or some cheese grated into it.
Oh, that's disgusting. What, are you out of your mind? That's the worst thing I've ever heard. Cheese?
Yes, you grate cheese into your baked beans.
Actually, you know what you just made? Pizza. You just made a pizza, haven't you? Tomato sauce with cheese on toast. That's a pizza. Yeah. Worst pizza ever.
Yeah, pretty much. But you get nice bread. You get nice thick, and it's got to be white bread as well for beans on toast.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, no mucking about. Sourdough, perhaps. Something with a bit of crisp to it. Yeah.
Oh God.
Not that tasteless white foam that most people.
No.
Like.
No. That's Wonderloaf. Do you remember Wonderloaf? You're of an age.
Well, I remember. Do they not sell that anymore?
I don't think.
Well, what was so wonderful about it then?
Well, it wasn't.
People were leaving it on the shelves.
It was like a sponge.
She flies like a bird through the sky.
Yeah. Nimble. Yeah. Anyway, I've been on this planet quite a long time.
Well, how long?
Well, getting up for 60 years.
Yeah.
And I've never been asked to do a poll. I've never been ever asked to do a poll.
I have. Only once. Somebody came to my door, said, "Hello, I'm from RAJAR. That's the Radio Audience Joy."
Something. Yeah, I've been seeing that a while. I don't know
what does RAJAR actually stand for.
Radio Joint Audience Research.
We've got really no idea. But anyway, they're very, very important to each and every one of us. And somebody knocked on my door, says, "Hello, I'm from RAJAR, and I'd like to ask you about your radio listening. We'll give you a diary, and you can fill it in for 2 weeks." Pound signs were coming into my eyes because I thought, right, I'm going to fill in me so much it's going to make my bosses explode with pleasure. And then he said, "Do you know anybody who works in radio?" And so I had to say yes, because I'm a good boy, I am. And then he left.
Been around a bit.
Yeah, he left.
Well, no one's ever asked me anything. I've never even been. I mean, I've not got a criminal record, although I did get busted for a little bit of cannabis once.
Right, guilty.
But they let me go. I was only 17. But and I haven't been asked for jury service. I'm starting to get a little bit paranoid.
Yeah, well, I don't actually want to say that out loud in case it actually happens. But I haven't been either.
No, it's starting to worry me. I think, well, I don't even drop litter. I mean, what's wrong with them?
Well, wow, we found someone, ladies and gentlemen. There's a person who doesn't drop litter. One person in the whole wide world. Finally, we found them.
God, I know, it's disgraceful. And
I pick litter up. I'm a reverse litter dropper. I go around picking it up. I know that sounds insane, but only around where I live. You know, if it blows in and around my driveway, I will pick it up if it's in the street.
Yeah, isn't it horrible? It's kind of, when I grew up, I mean, there was fish and chips and the occasional Chinese, and even that was a little bit, that was quite rare. And now it's just fast food. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And you see children coming out of chip shops with little boxes.
I think you're reminiscing a little bit too much. You're looking back at your youth through rose-tinted spectacles, which, by the way, are probably the best tint to get, because everything looks fantastic through rose-tinted spectacles. I got a pair of glasses that barely held together now. They've got scratches all over them, but everything looks fantastic through them because they're a sort of a reddy brown. And I'm not kidding. The day looks great through those. It does.
I mean, it's... let's get on to music. Music was better then.
Oh,
come on.
Shut up. Well, that's true, but stop going on about it. I know it was, but we'll always have Velvet Underground.
Rock and roll!
And it doesn't matter how long ago it was recorded, it still sounds fresh to me.
It does. It sounds like, wow.
Get yourself the 1967, I think it's 67, wasn't it? Or 66? 67, the live album, the one with the woman's parts on the front.
Disgusting.
And What Goes On, which is like about a 7-minute sort of jazz jam. It is fantastic. You can thank me later. No, wait. I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
All right, Steve, I've got to go.
I
gotta go. I've got to go. Got to go.
Okay. Nick.
All right, thanks a lot. Cheer up, mate. It might never... Oh, no, that's right. It already has. And that's it. If you like this, you'll probably like the other podcasts that I do, which you can find where you got this one. There's The Whole Show, which is, as it sounds, with the ads and the news taken out. And there's the new podcast that I'm doing with Carol McGiffin called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol. You'll be able to get it where you found this one and on an internet near you. And I'll be back on the radio next Friday and Saturday at 10. And until then, I'll be seeing you.
Bye-bye.